right, we're getting in some breaking news. This could perhaps become the breakthrough as far as the talks are concerned. Now you have Foreign Minister of Russia, Sergei Lavrov, indicating that they are in talks with Ukraine as far as Ukraine becoming a neutral state, one, and secondly, freeing Ukraine of the weapons. Not just that, they're also talking about the NATO membership. Remember, just on Monday, you've had one of the closest aide of President Zelensky, as well as the head of the diplomatic advisor of President Zelensky, speaking to Republic TV and exactly stating these two very important points as far as the negotiation goes. One, that the Ukraine is contemplating becoming a neutral state, and secondly, in the foreseeable future, they're not looking at the NATO membership, primarily because even the NATO members haven't really shown the kind of inclination towards granting NATO membership. But in return, what is it that Ukraine really wants? Ukraine is seeking for security guarantees, and these security guarantees are not only coming in from Russia, but they want these security guarantees to come in from Russia in the presence of other countries, something that the Foreign Minister of Russia has already indicated. So it does seem that there is a high possibility that there could be an end game, or there is an end sight as far as this war goes. What Ukraine is also trying to work out in these negotiations right now is perhaps a compromise formula which would indicate that there is a ceasefire agreement that is signed, and they're looking at something much more stronger than what has been there with them in the past. They've said that we've had these kind of agreements in the past, the Budapest memorandum being one of them, saying that this is nothing but just a piece of paper. And right now, Ukraine needs something beyond that, not a piece of paper which is signed by both the nations, and at the end of the day, the aggression still continues on the ground. They're also demanding that the Russian troops should be withdrawn from the Ukrainian soil, and secondly, they are saying that they are not willing to compromise as far as their territorial integrity and territorial sovereignty is concerned. These are some of the demands that have been made, but let's put this into perspective. The trigger point of this war was the NATO membership. Today, you have President Zelensky saying that they have to admit that NATO membership is no longer on the cards, which in itself is the big question. If that's the case, then what is this war all about? Is it once again a proxy war that is being fought between Russia and the West? If that's the case, then something more needs to be done. But as of now, what we see on the ground is that, yes, there is some semblance of normalcy returning into some of the places. But having said that, you still have a large scale of battle that's taking place in eastern side and down south, because remember, those are places which Russia wants to occupy. Russia wants to keep it under their control. And not just that, for those who are still bewildered by the fact that if these talks are happening, if both sides are indicating that they are making progress, then why is it that cities after cities in Ukraine are being bombarded? That's primarily because, remember, Russia's initial plan was a blitzkrieg attack on the capital city of Ukraine. That did not work out. It's completely failed. You have the Russian troops outside Kiev, 11 kilometers from the city center. They've not been able to carry out what they wanted. Their initial plan has failed. Having said that, they still want an upper hand as far as these negotiations goes. And this is exactly what the Ukrainians are indicating, that they would still want to go ahead with their plan to capture Kiev. If that really happens, then perhaps they would be in a better position to negotiate with Ukraine. But Ukraine, on the other hand, is trying their level best to defend the capital city and also ensuring that the cities do not come under the capture of the Russian occupation. They are saying that they have managed to ensure that Russians stay out of their cities, barring one city that's down south in Kherson. There hasn't been any other major city which is now being controlled by the Russians. They are saying the Ukrainian authorities have taken control of almost all cities, but the presence of Russian troops on the ground still remains.
I thank Shavan for those inputs. Viewers, Republic has the largest reporting team